Hello, friends. This is Chandrakant from Akulmach, and today we want to discuss something very relevant for startups, merge ups, and scale ups. And what is the secret ingredients for growth, and how partnership impact all of this. To discuss all of this, let me invite my friend from UK, Mr. Mike Bradley, who is a group chief strategy officer of RHF and Scale Up Arena. So, without further ado, let me invite my friend Mike.
Hello, Chandra. How are you?
I am very good, Mike, and it was pleasure meeting you once again.
It's the same here from the southern part of the UK, which is getting slightly warmer, but nowhere near as nice and warm as Delhi, I'm sure.
Well, you can't compare our weather because it's just getting into the great Indian summer, but we are feeling comfortable. There are no fans around at the moment.
Aha, very good.
So, Mike,
Well, we're in the depths of spring here, Chandra. So we're having sun 1 minute and rain the next.
I think this is the best weather mix of all.
Yeah, it's certainly good for the grass and the plants, I think.
Well, talking about plants, I think the startups are also like plants. We need to grow, and I think your company Scale Up Arena is doing a lot for the startups. And when you talk about merge ups, scale ups, and which is equal to ingredient for growth, which is also related to partnerships. Would you like to explain more about this phenomena to our viewers?
Yeah, sure. Well, I think, there are, as you rightly say, there's a great correlation between nature and the ecosystem of nature and the ecosystem of a business growth. Everything starts with an idea, an embryonic idea, and then it becomes a newborn, like a startup, which sells to the innovators. Then you have the growing phase, the young child phase, which is a bit like an emerge up, which is starting to sell to early adopters. And then you've got the scale ups, who are more like, I would say, adolescents and graduates, who are selling to the early majority of customers. But in order to accelerate that growth, the secret ingredient in all growth trajectories, if you like, I believe, is partnering, because there are so many reasons actually that partnering helps across the board, but particularly when you get to the early adopter and the early majority phase of the product. Because when you're selling to innovators, obviously it's new. At that point, it's very difficult to scale as a startup. In fact, it could be a major mistake to scale too quickly as a startup with partners, because what you want them to do is go to a partner and have a demonstrable product, a product that's shipping, a product that you can deploy, a reliable service and product, such that you can support the operational component of delivery and satisfy the client. So you can't embark on that partnering journey right at the start, but just as soon as you start to gain traction, you should also be developing, in my view, a partnering strategy such that you can accelerate the growth along with your business goals. But this needs to be considered in a short, medium, and long term, because basically, if you go into a large multinational partnership, it's going to take a long time. Even if there's buying at a strategic level, at the leadership level, it's going to take a while to make sure you've got all the I's dotted and the T's crossed in order to operationally deploy that. If you're going to work with a major partner across India, you've got to be able to scale and support that. And that isn't something that is going to happen within 2 weeks. However, if you work and have a model that enables you to start where you are and then develop into a larger partnership environment, then I think that offers great opportunity for growth and also to optimize the traction for your product in the marketplace.
So, Mike, I have a question to ask, and the question
Mm-hmm.
is related to exactly the startup arena where there are many startups, and startups mostly almost 90% of the startup fold within first year of their operations.
Yep.
So what they should do to stay relevant? I think you're talking about merge ups. So how scale up arena will help these startups to stay afloat by a merge up? That is my specific question.
Until there are merge ups, do you mean?
Well,
Yeah.
my question is
Go
that
for it.
if they are not able to sell effectively and generate enough revenue within first year of their operations, then they will have to
Mm-hmm.
fold their business. So instead of folding their
Correct.
business, they should try and merge up with other startups. And since Scale Up Arena is really doing all that as a service, I think
Yep.
we would like to know how the startups stay relevant by merging up with other startups, maybe in India, maybe in UK, maybe in other parts of the world. How this
Mm-hmm.
process will actually happen through Scale Up Arena?
Okay. So as you rightly say, the real startups, the real newborn businesses, they very much, I believe, have to stay local. Now they may be able to prove their model with local partnerships, with local clients, and that's what they should look to do if they possibly can. And that might mean, instead of the expression trying to boil the ocean, they maybe should start with trying to boil a pot of water or a pot of chai, shall we say. Okay, so if you boil a small saucepan of chai to start with, work with clients and innovators who buy your product in that early stage. They should be the ones that are targeted in the initial stages for a startup. And so when companies have got that initial sale, got that initial case study, have proven their model, then I think they can start to look more at the early adopters and the early majority clients. So start to look further afield, start to look for maybe partners into new niches, into new sectors within their country. They could start to look for international partners by looking at the model that they go to in that space. So for me, there are four key categories of breaking into a market with a partner. There's the agent model, which is basically a commission-only sales model, which enables you to work with maybe an individual or a consultant or someone from the gig economy to help you break into a new geography or sector where they get a commission based on the sales that are made. That's the lowest entry point for me within that sort of a partnering model. A startup could do that. It's more likely that's going to happen when they're in a merge up or a scale up, when they've started to get that early traction and proven the model. The next stage is to look for some sort of reseller arrangement. Now, this could be a reseller who then takes the product, makes it part of their portfolio, builds it on behalf of the vendor, if you like, the innovator, the vendor, and then what they can do is they can take the existing product. Maybe they would OEM it, rebrand it, depending on the product. They build it maybe into their existing solution and sell it as a complete package. But they are a reseller relationship. So, if I was looking to go into the Middle East, into Dubai or UAE or into India or into Australia, I would probably, if I was at the merge up stage and I've proven my model, I'd probably be looking more for agent stroke resellers. The next stage, it would be to look for some form of joint venture, which is basically where you're putting the two brands together. And normally it would be because there are two product areas that are complementary and can help you get into a market. Okay, so that might be, going back to the tech world, that might be a network provider with a, I don't know, a web collaboration tool like Zoom on the top. So you might use the local partners network, and you would use the vendor's application above that to go to market with the solution. You put the two together, and the package becomes what the joint venture is all about. And then the final model, of course, is to acquire. Is to go. You've proven your product is valid for the marketplace. You've got sales in that international space or in that sector, and maybe you then think, actually, we would like to either acquire the technology or sell the technology, our technology, to that company, or we'd like to acquire a customer base, or we think that it'd be beneficial to buy this person to get into that particular market. So I think those are the four stages, if you like, of the partnering stroke joint venturing trajectory, as I would say. But the benefits are substantial, and we haven't really covered those yet. So why partner? Well, there are, in my view, 8 major reasons that principally an emerge up or a scale up, but also maybe a startup can benefit from going for a partnering model. And obviously with Scale Up Arena, what we're doing is we're enabling this component. So we've got an M&A brokering boutique that will help with the acquisition side or the selling side. We have got the ability to do joint venturing and partnering solutions. We've got access to markets. We've got training that can be used in a way to educate a partner or a new market in the solution. And we've also got the experts themselves who are experts in helping companies to get that model right. Okay, so that's how Scale Up Arena supports this partnering engagement.
Well, I think you gave a very detailed answer, and I was coming from the point of view that the startups do not have too much time with them. They have to build their line of service or product. They have to have a CRM in place. They have to have client list, and they have to also have a paying clientele, and they have to have a cash flow. So, considering all these things, it's very difficult for the startups to scale up in the first 12 months. And in today's environment, the reality is there is a huge competition. If there is a startup back there in London, there may be 10 other startups doing the same thing in India. So I think somewhere, somehow, these 11 players must pull in their strengths together, become bigger, and essentially provide that service quicker, faster, and better. So is there a possibility through Scale Up Arena to identify such players and motivate them to merge up so that they don't reinvent the wheel again and again and again and die in the process of doing that?
Yeah, I think very much so, because the network of experts that we have, we've now got an agreement with the Association of Business Mentors that can support organizations in their growth trajectory. Plus, there's the other experts and companies and service providers and innovators within the platform. What the key component is, and what we're doing more and more of, is introducing the larger SMEs and the multinationals into the innovators and the startups, emerge ups, and scale ups. Not so much scale ups, but startups and emerge ups, looking now to expand their traction in the marketplace. And as you rightly say, there's a lot of benefits to this. The time saved, it takes an awful lot of time to create a market. But if you go with somebody who's already established in that marketplace, you have a much greater chance in the short term of capitalizing on your product. Because as you rightly say, at any one point in time, there's another plethora of competitors out there trying to create the next thing in your space that's going to make a big difference. But what the most successful products in the past have done is they've actually taken a new product into an existing organization and sold it through that organization into that client base. Classic example, MS-DOS. MS-DOS was sold out through IBM, and that's why MS-DOS exists today. It was sold as PC-DOS. If they hadn't done that, we would never have heard of it. Maybe CP/M would still exist. But it was because they actually accessed the market through a partner, they succeeded. The second thing, of course, is the saving of money. Money, as we all know, particularly for startups and emerge ups, is very, very tight. They are short of everything. They're short of working capital, they're short of time, they're short of clients, they're short of staff to develop it, they're short of executives. This is where Scale Up Arena provides that sort of support and ecosystem model to support them. But if these startups and emerge ups are to optimize their fiscal resources, they will go to market through companies that have already got a client base, because they don't have to spend the marketing dollars on telling the end users about their product. They can go and ride in on the back of the partner's client base and help to complement and provide a commission incentive for the partner to take their product into the marketplace. And then, of course, there's speed. Because if I wanted to bring a product to India, there wouldn't be enough decades left in this century for me to actually go there. However, if I was to partner with a Bharti or a Tata or a large organization that's got a national presence already in India, I can immediately get into that geographic patch much quicker. So the speed of entry is faster. And that, of course, saves me time, saves me money. Then there's the benefit of brand association. Because if I go in as Scale Up Arena, thanks to Akulmach, people are hearing about us. But if it was me coming in on my own, walking out of Delhi airport, trying to make a presence in India, I wouldn't have any brand association. People would say, who's this, strange English bloke come off a plane? And how would I actually gain traction in that space? And the reality is, it's only by brand association that any startup, emerge up, or sometimes scale up is actually known in the marketplace. So brand association is so important. And that's another benefit of being on Scale Up Arena, because rather than being a needle in the Google haystack, you can actually align with other brands, other vendors, other partners and service providers who in effect act as a virtual sales force. But also by brand association, you get into that geography, that sector, that marketplace. Then, of course, there's the technology I mentioned already, in the joint venture scenario, that maybe putting two products together creates a new solution that the market is now wanting. So it helps to give you a competitive edge, a competitive advantage, because it would take a startup company a long time to develop all the different components. And in the tech market, what we usually say is within 3 years, you deliver or die. So you cannot spend 2 to 3 years developing a product for the marketplace as it was 12 months ago, because in 6 months' time, it's going to have changed. So you've got to be more dynamic. The only way you can do that is by aligning with other organizations, other products, other plugins, bringing the plugins into the software environment to enable you to move quicker and develop faster and provide that dynamic cutting edge. Then, of course, there's the culture and the skills. Now, whether we like it or not, it's easier for a local person to go into a marketplace and sell to a local market, because there are nuances in that space, such as, I don't know whether people we don't none of us shake hands, but in the usual way, some people shake hands, some people, you know, greet them in a different way, and people tend to understand the cultures that they were brought up in. And so, if you want to sell to a culture, for me, it's the go local model. You cannot impose your culture on another sales operation in a different country or sector, because there's different terminology, there's different expectations, there's different ways of talking and doing business. Sometimes it's lunchtime, sometimes there are no lunches. So you have to make use of the not just the actual skills associated with your product, but also make use of the local social skills and needs to ensure that you can optimize the market. The way you do that is through partnering. Either you have a local agent or a reseller, or you have a local go-to-market partner, or you have to buy a company. Then, of course, the funding side of the equation is important as well, because it doesn't matter what size organization you are, when you go into a new market, you're probably going to have to spin up a new version or produce or find a distribution channel. If you work with a partner, that helps you to optimize the funding dollars and the go-to-market dollars in that new space. And then, of course, the ultimate goal is that the emerge up and the scale up come to a point where they think, actually, you know what? This partner could actually acquire us, and it can be an exit strategy, because ultimately none of us are going to last forever, and we may decide, actually, the wave is breaking, we're hitting the early majority. When is the time to sell? The time to sell is when everybody wants your product, because if you wait until people are saying, there's a new product coming, you disappear. We can all think of the names of products that have disappeared from the horizon because they've been surpassed by new technology. I won't mention them, but we all know them. They were technologies that we thought were going to be here forever, brands, there was social media, many of the social media platforms that existed in the beginning have now disappeared altogether. So, that you've got to have an eye for the exit, and it's a disappointed entrepreneur who waits forever thinking, I'm always going to be making this money, particularly in tech. Not so true in traditional products, because there's always been a market for a hydraulic product. However, in the tech marketplace, I can guarantee you 90% of the solutions and the companies out there today who are creating a product will have sold it and moved on within 3 years.
Mike, lately we have also seen a different model in the partnering arena, which is the principal giving time to scale up to the partners. For example, if I sign up as a company, a partnership with a global giant, they will give me 6 to 8 months to scale up, and they will give their offerings absolutely free, no charge at all during first 6 months or 8 months. So do you see some sort of incentive for this kind of model also coming up in the startup arena?
I think, well, you're talking in terms of the multinational taking the product into their business.
Well, let me rephrase my question. It's like this. Say, for example, if I'm a small company and my market is limited to 50 clients near my locality, near my city, etc. I'm in India. Now, if I have to scale up my company, what I need to do is I have to find similar set of clients somewhere through partnership in UK or somewhere in Africa. Now, if I talk to that person in UK that, hey, I will appoint you my partner, and then you sell my services to these type of clientele near your area, the partner is not enthusiastic enough to take that offering unless you roll in some benefits for him, initial sign up benefits. And the benefit could be that I will not charge you for first 6 months. I will give you some freebies for first 6 months, and so on. I've actually, during the pandemic, I have been seeing these models also coming up quite a bit.
I think that's it depends on how deep the pockets are for the company, because when you start offering anything for free, of course, startups and emerge ups, as we've already said, are short of everything. Okay, so I think you've got to time the entry to other markets very carefully, because it sounds great to have international exposure, but actually, if you could make much more money by staying local or staying niche, perhaps that's a better strategy. I wouldn't suggest that everybody should try and go global. I think it's a very dangerous strategy to offer anything for free, because unless people have got skin in the game, they won't actually put as much energy into it. If they think oh, it doesn't matter if I sell this or not, I haven't had to pay for it, there's no incentive for the directors of that company to say, actually, we need to sell this product. What I think I'd be more keen to say, what we need in the UK to take this product into the UK, we need case studies, we need examples of what the product is, we need a fixed product line, and we need you to spend marketing dollars to get us into the marketplace for you in the UK. Unless it's a client or a partner who says, as we said before, by associating your product with their product, it actually gives an incremental opportunity. If it doesn't give an incremental opportunity, it's not complementary with the existing business, then you should walk away. But where it's complementary, then it could be cheaper to enter into that marketplace. That's why partnering is good. But giving things away for nothing, I think that very rarely gives you any benefit. I think both parties have got to have skin in the game.
I think you made a very valid point. So there are various models available. I think the scale-up arena is at the forefront of providing all permutation combinations for startups, for also facilitating the merge-ups, so that you can scale up as a businessman. So Mike, thank you so much for finding time and discussing this very important subject with us today.
I've got a quote to finish, Chandra, on this. Sir Edmund Hillary, I think, sums up partnering very well. The quote is, strategic alliances and ecosystems can help individual and organizations accomplish what they cannot achieve on their own. And that's what partnering and scale-up arena is all about. It's helping you achieve what you can't achieve on your own.
Absolutely. I think this is a very well quote. And on this positive quote, we can end our discussion. So there is a 20% discount for viewers of Akulmach. All you have to do is go to scaleuparena.com and use Akulmach promo code to get 20% discount. So with this, I'll end our show today. Mike, thank you so much, and we will catch up next time on something even more interesting.
Always a pleasure, and it's great to chat to you as always, Chandra. Thank you very much.